Hi everyone, welcome to session 2 in this series, Trends and Themes from Salone del Mobile, Milano. This is the International Furniture Fair. Today we are going to be delving into trends and themes in the bathroom zone. So before we do that, we'll have a quick look at some facts and figures. If you missed my previous webinar, we have covered kitchens already, so go take a look. And stay tuned, next up we will be talking about all the technology in the appliance area. So I'm going to turn off my screen now, and so that way you can see everything, and we will move on and let's have a look at what is happening in the world of bathrooms. So just before we dive in, let's have a bit of a look. Now, I apologize, I have covered this off in my other webinar, so if you've already seen it, feel free to skip forward for a few minutes. Just wanted to give you a bit of a sense of the scope of the show and why it's so important. So worldwide, it is the preeminent kitchen and bathroom design show and furniture show in terms of international trends. So you can see this year we had just over 370,000 attendees over the 6 days that the show was on, and the total exhibition space is around 175,000 square meters. So that's a lot to cover. Most people, when they go to the show, don't get to see everything. That's just a standard thing. When you add in that plus Milan Design Week, it's very hard to get around and see everything. In total, there were 1,950 exhibitors. In the Eurocachina and appliances section, there were 105 exhibitors with 23,000-ish square meters of space. In the bathroom area, we had 185 exhibitors in about 18,000 square meters. The Salone itself is the furnishings and furniture area. That area had 1,060 exhibitors and just under 130,000 square meters of space. And Salone Satelliti, which is my favorite part of the show, which is the young designers. So designers under 35, there were 600 of them from 22 countries this year in about 3,500 square meters of space. So you can see just how much there is to get around and see everything and bring everything back. So this is my curated version of what I saw and what I think were the main trends and themes that I picked up on in my time in the bathroom section. So overall, I think there was definitely a deeper investigation into what we mean by the idea of wellness. So the idea of the bathroom being a wellness space is not new, but I felt this year that there were many companies that just really took a deep dive into that and wanted to really look at what was needed in the bathroom space in order to really underscore that idea. So obviously we have timeless concepts. So we're still very much borrowing from the past and applying to the future. Very much around, like I say here, nostalgia, but make it modern. So it's not about taking old pieces necessarily, but it's about borrowing from pieces from the past and seeing how we can make them modern. In terms of comfort and indulgence, very much organic shapes and highlighting nature, key themes, particularly in the bathroom space. In terms of colour, it was very much looking at how we can use the psychology of colour to enhance that sense of wellness. Texture and use of materials. It was really lovely to see lots and lots of textured pieces coming into the bathroom. Lots of natural stone. You do tend to see lots of natural stone in Europe. And playing the shapes and forms. So not just the standard things that you would expect to see in the bathroom. Very much too around customization and personalization. So I think really looking at the idea of, well, if you're going to create a wellness space, in order for it to be a wellness space that does its job, it needs to be able to be customized in some way. So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution where this one thing in this one way, in this one color, is going to make everyone feel like this is a space of repose and tranquility. It's about how do we use technology and storage and other systems to create those really customized spaces. So let's jump in and have a look at some examples that I brought back for you. So this is the first example here. So we were looking at timeless concepts. You can see very much here with the shapes and the ambience around these products from Art Linear. It's very much about the style of the vintage era, but bringing it into a modern space. So what I really love about this is you've got the two little legs at the front, which is very much borrowing from the furniture style of, say, the 70s, but there's no support at the back. So it's a wall-mounted cabinet with these beautiful legs at the front that gives you that very vintage style. What you've got here is this real lovely idea of how we can bring something from the past so that you do have a sense of nostalgia that comes with that, but integrate modern elements so that it's functional for the way that we live today. So in terms of the hardware and the functionality and the way that it's put together, it's very much a modern product. This was just the cutest little thing. So this is from Devon and Devon. It's absolutely gorgeous. And obviously you can see here they've applied it in a setting that really brings out its innate sense of iconoclasm, really. So this is called the Music Junior. So it's specifically designed obviously for small bathrooms. You can see it's a small vanity unit, but very much in that Art Deco style with this lovely sophisticated design, but with an element that brings it into a contemporary space. Really lovely, black and white, obviously absolute classics. And yeah, just a really, really cute example of taking the old and making it new. Now, this is a gorgeous product from EXT. Now, this is actually not a new product. The Stand collection is having its 10th anniversary this year. But this year they have unveiled a new edition of what is a bestseller for the company. The Stand console, you can see it's light, it's ethereal, it's got a very, very basic structure, and you can see they've applied a similar kind of structural detail to the matching bath unit. So what this creates is quite an iconic collection, very much inspired by the modernist style of the 1920s and 1930s. But really highlighting the simplicity of the design, allowing the geometries to take center stage. So what you're really drawn to in terms of the visual here is the lovely shapes that are created by these two pieces. But they're lovely and light. They've done a great job of balancing form and function and giving us a sense of that old world charm. In terms of comfort and indulgence, so here we're really talking about what we can do with texture, what we can do with organic shapes, what we can do with making products feel welcoming, you know, looking at playing with balance of, for example, the half moon mirror here behind the beautiful freestanding wash basin. You know, this is lovely with the effect of the crisscross design, as you can see, applied in two different formats here. Just really, really nice, clean lines, beautiful geometries. In this particular collection, you can choose from up to 56 shades, including 4 metals. And so what that really gives you the opportunity to do is very much customize the solution to what is needed. very much around creating spaces that are very calm and very muted, undertones of colour that just really enhance that idea and provide a really strong kind of aesthetic impact, but with, again, allowing for that uniqueness of the space. Now, oh my goodness, who wants a shower like that? I know I do. It's absolutely stunning. So this is from Grower. This is a collection, Icon 3D. So this is really about looking at organic shapes, inspiration very much from nature. You can definitely see branches and twigs and leaves and those kind of iconic sort of symbols showing through in the way that these pieces are created, and particularly in the color that's been chosen as well. It's very much a reflective color that works particularly well in that natural environment. So very much around personalizing the bathroom experience. The rain shower is, you know, really taking a customized product to that next level, really looking at the ultra thin silhouette, and I guess also because these guys obviously play with water a lot, like that's in their space, I think really playing with how does the design of the unit affect the flow of the water, and how does it transform the silhouette that the water creates when it's coming out. So you can see, because of the way they've used a branch-like structure for the shower here, it's really changed the way that the water, or the shape that the water makes when it falls. Particularly, I love this basin tap here with the little soap holder. It's just such a gorgeous organic shape, and I think they've just done a really beautiful example of bringing nature indoors and allowing you to really reflect that kind of softer appeal and softer tactile expression through the bathroom. This is another gorgeous example from Fantini. This is Flora, designed by Vincent van Dusen. And I'm just going to read you a little quote from the designer. The Flora design emerged organically from my desire to create a timeless collection with a light, nostalgic touch. So again, you can see that there are definitely elements. If you look at the end of the spout, you can see there's definitely elements that hark back to that older style bath spout or outdoor tap even. But the handle is a really modern interpretation of the old style handles that you'd get. And this really reminds me very much of the outdoor tap, you know, the outdoor tap that you'd have on the corner of your house where you'd attach the hose to when you were going to hose the garden. And it's really reminiscent of that, but it's a modern interpretation. Very tactile, beautifully ergonomic. I think the handle design really showcases the focus on ergonomics and ease of use, but keeps it within the design criteria so that it's definitely still giving the sense of the old world charm, but bringing it into a modern environment. Color, oh, it was so nice to see color everywhere. So a couple of years ago, when we had the first Saloni after the pandemic, there was a lot of playing it safe. Most companies didn't have a lot of time or a lot of notice that the show was going to be able to be on again. And so we didn't see so much of the pushing the boundaries. But what we do see here is, or what we have seen this year, is a real embracing of colour. you can still see that it's bright, but it's not bright. So it's a muted bright, as in it's like it's been a little bit washed out. So we've got a nod to these bright colors with the blues and the greens and the yellows, but they've had a little bit of a wash taken out of them. So they're not really in your face. They're not so bright that it kind of hurts your eyes. So in particular, the one from Kohler that caught my eye was this one, which is got a really gorgeous terrazzo base, but see how it's slanted? So obviously it's designed to flow the water towards the sinkhole. But what I love is the speckled visual that the terrazzo brings, and it works so beautifully with all the colors in the range. Really nice way of bringing an extra texture into the bathroom, and using it inside the basin like this actually means that most of the time while you're moving around in the bathroom, you're actually only catching little glimpses of the terrazzo. So sometimes I think we shy away from using finishes like terrazzo in the bathroom because they can be really overwhelming in a small space. Whereas this type of application here, I think, is really clever because you're not getting too much of it all at once. It's there as a highlight rather than as the main design feature. And I just think it's a really gorgeous example of kind of thinking outside the square, but also reimagining what a traditional basin needs to look like, or how a traditional basin needs to function. This is another gorgeous example from Novello Bloom. So this is very much around, again, it's a bright color, but it's a bright color with a wash. So we're injecting color, but we're not going too far. But then also looking at what decorative details can we add that's going to highlight the color and actually amplify that color. So I really love what this is called is the tile door. So it's a routed door, and it's available in 39 lacquered colors in either matte or a soft finish. You can either have this straight up and down, or you can have a zigzag function, and an integrated wash basin on top just gives that really beautiful, clean finish. But I just really love how the harsh geometry of this tile feature really serves, in my mind, to highlight the color and actually brings the color out a bit more. So we talk about unusual or surprising. This gorgeous little creature is from FEMA, and he's called Stecco, by Lorenzo Damiani Design. And literally in the information you collect, it says outdoor shower or giant insect. Well, I actually don't know, but he's just absolutely gorgeous. And if you want to have something that's going to get your guests talking or get noticed, this would be it. So the main body is a metal tube. It's a pull-out hand shower. You've got two thin legs, which is obviously is what makes you think of an insect or some sort of a animal creature or something like that. Known as the king of disguise for its remarkable ability to camouflage amongst branches and leaves. Again, that's a quote from the company. But I do love it's got this vaguely anthropomorphic shape, which is very harmonious with the outdoor environment, and particularly would work really well, say, around a pool or in a spa area. You know, just very, very simple, very surprising. You almost wouldn't know it's a shower until you got up close to it. And very much available in a range of colours, grey, blue and green, and now in the burgundy red that you can see, and the sand that is in the other products at the back there. So just so cute. If we look at texture and use of materials, I think I mentioned before, we do tend to see a lot of natural stone over in Europe. Natural stone in Europe is prevalent. It's really easy, it's not too expensive, so it does tend to get used a lot. This example from Antolini is carved from a single block of stone, was polished by hand, obviously backlit. So you get this beautiful sculptural presence, and it almost makes the bath become a work of art. And you can see they've deliberately placed it on a pedestal here, as you would any other work of art. Very much around showcasing what you can do with true craftsmanship. Antolini is very much known for the quality of its workmanship and its meticulous attention to details. So you can see here with examples like this that they're really showcasing what they can do with natural stone and how they can really elevate that kind of product to really just give it that something very, very special. This is Incastri from Gessi. Absolutely just an incredible product, very, very gorgeous. Really, again, playing here with the texture on the handle, but also playing with a handle that doesn't quite look like a handle. Gessi is obviously a world-renowned company, and it doesn't shy away from pushing the boundaries and thinking outside the square. Very much likes to play with form and function, very much likes to look at where it can add surprise, where it can bring a new element of something to a product, so that a tap is not just a tap, it's a work of art. Now with this example in Incastri, you can see they've really played with the textural element on the handle to make it a tactile experience for the user, as well as providing a functional element. And I just think for something like this, where you really want a piece of beauty in the bathroom, something like this is absolutely going to meet that requirement. So this is a gorgeous range from Agape. This is Cenote by Patricia Aqualia. Textured wash basins. So again, really looking at where you can bring a textural quality to a monolithic piece. So the bathtubs are in clay or in lava stone, and they've added a new series of wash basins this year. So very much looking at how the material affects how you interact with the piece within the bathroom space, and looking at how you can bring texture to underscore the shape and actually enhance the shape of basic things like bathrooms and basins and elevate them to the next level. Oh, so one of my favorite companies to visit when we go, Creo. Creo is known for its playing with natural stone, particularly for its work with marble. And this was just the most beautiful piece. It actually invites you to touch it. When you walk onto the stand and you see this piece, the first thing you want to do is walk up and touch it. It really invites you to interact with the piece. It invites you to have a tactile experience with the piece. And I just think that this cylinder shape lends itself so perfectly to this kind of textural application. So again, created from a single block of marble. So then what you end up with there is a continuous surface that can be shaped with this intricate pattern work, and provide you with a really monolithic freestanding sink that is quite unusual and very, very different, certainly eye-catching, but the shape and what they've decided to engrave here, again, it's reflects shells and leaves and other elements of nature. So it is very much about saying this is a natural stone product, and so we are going to make it live in its natural environment. So in terms of what we choose to decorate it with are all going to be elements and visual representations of nature. More texture here from our blue. Now these were just stunning. Again, you don't necessarily notice the texture until you get up close, but as soon as you do, it's that invitation to engage with the surface. It's that invitation to touch, to feel. What I love about this texture is it's really reminiscent of fabric. It really makes you think of the type of fabric that you would see on a chair or a sofa maybe. So you just get this really lovely sense of a tactile engagement when you run your hand along the front. Again, look at the color profiles here. So we've got nice bright colors, but with a wash taken out of them. So we're still working in the subdued end of the color spectrum, but still allowing for color to come into the space. More texture here from Archada. This is called Tulle. So again, this is really looking at where we can add something to a piece of suspended bathroom furniture to give it an extra depth. So you've got here these beautiful grooves along the door front, and you can see then they're offset. They're not quite regular. They're regular enough, but not quite regular, so that it interrupts the eye and makes the eye see more. So when you've got a really regularity of lines along something like this, there's nothing to stop the eye traveling across. You don't tend to stop and look. Whereas where you get an irregular kind of approach like this, what it does is it actually forces the eye to take a moment before it picks up again. So it helps make a piece like this, I guess, become more attention seeking. Very, very minimalist. I think here the vertical lines really enhance the very, very straight nature of the unit, but because it's wall mounted, because it doesn't have that real blockiness or kind of monolithic approach, it's a really, really beautiful way to finish off something like this rather than just doing a plain front. It's just a really simple way of giving it an extra depth and creating that visual texture as well as the actual texture. This was gorgeous. This was from Axor, from Antonio Chiterio. So this is, again, looking at how we can apply texture to something that you have to touch all the time. So by necessity, the tap or the handle for the tap is something that we need to engage with on a daily basis. So very much looking here about how we can create a texture that helps with that engagement, that just makes the engagement that little bit more intimate. It enhances the ambience because it helps reflect light around the bathroom, very much around highlighting the slenderness, the elegance of a tap like this. So yeah, really just a really beautiful example of a subtle texture, but one that is very, very important, and provides, I guess, almost a form of decoration, really, you know, that you don't normally see in a handle in this kind of way. This was just absolutely gorgeous, and a really, really interesting application, I thought, in terms of a basin. So we we do think about a basin very much as, you know, fully integrated or partially integrated or countertop. So this, I thought, was a really nice play on, well, what if the basin was its own thing, but it was inserted into the bench top? So this was really cute. So the bowl is actually, the base is in an inclined position, which you can see here. So again, that helps with the draining off of water. But what you get is this really subtle, very, very delicate basin that is almost there but not there. It's a steel rim that is almost appears to be sunken into the basin, so it kind of almost looks like it shouldn't be there. And it was really, it was just a really, really nice approach. I thought something that I hadn't seen before in terms of how we approach basin application in the bathroom. Interestingly, connections was the theme for this company at the show. So all of the things that they had on display were looking at not just the connection between the user of the bathroom and the items in the bathroom, but also the connection within the items of the bathroom itself. So how each element within the bathroom connected with each other, and then what kind of connection that made with the user of the bathroom. So yeah, I really loved this as an example of what you could do with basin design that's a bit out of the ordinary. This was just so pretty. So this is called Infinito. Basically, again, really looking at what you can do with recycled material. So this is created from marble scraps and cement. So again, looking at offcuts, reuse of material that would potentially otherwise go to scrap. Again, minimal ecological impact because you're reusing something that was going to be thrown out anyway. Particularly, I love the shape. I really love how it sort of looks like, you know, a rock pool or a funnel. I really love the application on the left there where you can see it's been applied to a see-through or glass base. So you get that sense of the water running down, but also very, very beautiful when applied as a wall basin. Just really, it's pretty, it's beautiful, and it has I guess a sense of sophistication as well. You can see here it's been applied with two very different types of tapware to show just the versatility of the product. But just a really nice way, I thought, particularly of looking at reusing materials and the recyclability of materials. When we talk about customization and personalization, this was an absolute delight to come across. So this was a wellness unit designed by Marco Piva. So this is basically a station. So it's conceived as a place for indulgence, so a place for wellness, a place where you can sit and invest in yourself, do whatever you need. So it's basically, it's a single module with a number of functions. So you can mix and match what you need to go in there. So in addition to the sink, you've got storage compartments that can be added. You've got the vanity station. You've got additional accessories that can be added. So it can be very much fitted out and personalized for what you want the station to do. So obviously they had it here more as a beauty station, but it could just as easily be a station for anything else, for shaving or for makeup or you know, anything that you need it to be. So very much providing you with the the basic details and then allowing you to kit it out for whatever is needed in the space that you've got. When we talk about storage, really in Europe, most of the storage solutions that you see are very much systems. So it's very much about providing you with the base, either a frame or a structure, and then allowing you as the designer to put the elements together to create what is needed for your particular customer. So obviously the name is strip, so the base unit here is the wall mounted strip. And as you can see from the examples here, it can be accessorized with a whole raft of different things. And that depends on where the strip is going to be applied in the bathroom, how many strips are going to be applied, and what is required. So you can see you've got hanging elements, you've got standing elements, you've got elements for mirrors, you've got elements for a whole range of things. And so it's very, very much about a modular system that allows you to mix and match. But because once the strip is installed, you can actually change. So you can swap out what is on there. So it does allow it to mature or change as the customer's needs may change. So very much about, yeah, really you guys are allowed to pick and choose, or you guys are encouraged really to pick and choose and set it up in the way that it is most relevant for your particular design. This was so cute. So this was from Idea Group. So this is a wall system, and it's particularly created as a bit of a space-saving environment. So particularly thinking around your smaller, more compact bathrooms where you might not have a lot of wall space for storage. So what this does is it allows you to build out a little bit from the wall behind and then provide that extra level of storage. Now, obviously, the company says it's not just for bathroom use, although that is obviously the example that we're seeing here. You can put this sort of system in passageways, hallways, entrances, corridors. You could use it in a mudroom type of environment. It really depends, but what it does is it also allows you to hide plumbing and other things in behind if you want to keep them out of sight. It's just a really, really nice application for extra storage in terms of, you know, when you really need to maximize every centimetre that you've got available, and you don't need great big depth of cupboards. You can really just put together what you need to put together there in terms of that wall system. These are a very, very cute range of basins and vanity units and mirrors and frames, all in the Picture collection. So Picture is a really versatile bathroom furniture collection, again, based around a frame system. So you've got a metal frame, and then you pick and choose what you apply within the frame to create the composition that is needed for the particular solution. So there are a range of different vanity units, there are a range of different mirrors, there are storage units, there are basins. You can pick and choose again, and it's very much about a mix and match style solution. 3 different frame sizes. So again, it's not just limited to what you can fit where. You can see some frames go all the way up and include the mirror. You've got other frames that are separate. So it's really very much about giving you guys the tools and then allowing you to design the solution that works best for the space that you're designing and works best for the customer that you're designing to. Oh, now these were just absolutely stunning. So I found these at the show. This is from an Argentinian company called Concrete. So what they do is they create these freestanding bathtubs, and they do basins as well. So it's a concrete bath or compound concrete bath that the Argentinian designer creates. And then she works with a range of artists who produce one-off, unique artwork for each bath. So literally each bath is unique. Now the word unique gets bandied around a lot, but the literal definition of unique is one of a kind, does not exist anywhere else. And because of the nature of the artwork, even if you went to the artist and said, can I have one like this, please? It still wouldn't be exactly the same as the one you were referencing, because each time the artist would create it with their own spin or their own take. Because it's hand painted each time, each bath is truly unique. Absolutely beautiful. And if you have a client where I guess they're looking for that piece where it's, I really don't want anyone else to have anything else that I've got, or it really needs to be created specifically for a particular environment, then something like this would be gorgeous. They're treated like works of art. So each bath has an engraved copper plate with a seal identifying the serial number, the logo, and the name of the artist and the signature of the artist who produced it. So what you really have here is a one-of-a-kind piece of art that no one else can have. This is another shelving system that allows for that customization and personalization we talked before. It's a profile shelf, and you can see here that it's highly adaptable with different styles and requirements. You've got one example here where it's near a bath, another example on the side there where it's above a basin unit or a vanity unit. So again, it's a supporting frame, which then allows you to add in extra elements. So you've got the towel rail there, you've got other elements for storage, you've got trays, you can just use it as a standard shelf for pieces of art. But again, highly customizable, ultra compact. It's got the LED strip built in, so the lighting is already built into the unit. It's just very, very simple to install, but really easy, gives the designer full autonomy around what you want to create and how in terms of the specific project that you're working on. So that brings us to the end of our bathroom section. I am very happy if you have seen something in today's presentation that you would like some more information on. Here is all my details. I'm very happy for you to email me and I'll provide whatever I've got. And if that happened to whet your appetite and you are thinking of going to the show, we are going back next year for Milan Design Week 2025. Now, next year is actually the year where Eurolucha is on. Eurolucha is the lighting exhibition. So Eurocachina and the bathroom exhibition are only on every second year. And when they're not on, they have the lighting exhibition. So lighting systems, lighting design, lighting componentry, it's going to be fabulous. So stay in touch if you would like some more information. And coming up next, we will delve into the world of appliances.